In this video, I'm gonna be telling you how to disappear and come back successful and do it the right way. So I've actually tried to do this many times and failed, and then I actually did it the right way. So I'm gonna tell you two different stories to portray my message. And first, we're gonna start off with the time that I did it wrong. So about a year ago, I came back from Sweden. I'd been doing sales jobs at this point, and I knew I wanted to take on entrepreneurship, and this was the time. When I went back to Florida, I was going all in on entrepreneurship, and I was gonna make it happen. I was gonna make 100K a month. I had the wildest dreams, and unfortunately, for the first 8 months, I failed miserably. I literally made $0 and got to the point where I had credit card debt. So for those 8 months, the issue was I wasn't taking initiative. I wasn't doing everything that I could have. I didn't go all in. My back wasn't against the wall. I didn't treat it like it was life or death. I just kind of did a little bit here and there. I looked into starting a mortgage business. I did the test. I got a good score on it, but I wasn't going all in. I didn't know what it meant to truly hustle and go after your goals tenaciously, like your life depends on it. So that was the issue. I went in, I started doing some of the good habits of quitting partying, drinking, but the thing was, it kind of just led me down a downward spiral because I wasn't having any success. So as I did throw in a lot of good habits and remove some of the bad ones, it just made me isolate myself socially without having any sort of success to go along with it. So I just ended up kind of losing some of the momentum I built up in other areas of my life. Like socially, I'd been very confident at cold approaching before this point, and I kind of stopped doing all that stuff, and I started just focusing on some of the good habits and kind of approaching business, but I was still half-assing it, which I didn't realize at the time, but I wasn't going all in. And this takes me to the second story of when I actually succeeded by disappearing and coming back successful. So after those 8 months in Florida, when I was really just getting to a bad point in life, when things just kind of went down to the absolute low point at the end of those 8 months, I went to New York. I retreated to the mountains like Batman, and I said, I will not leave until I'm making 10K a month. And I just knew I was gonna make money in sales somehow, but I was gonna start my own business, and I wanted to do all these things. I ended up starting my own high-ticket sales coaching company. But the long story short is, once I got there, I was tenacious. I didn't do anything else besides, try and figure things out. And once I had the idea and the opportunity, I executed on it fully. I worked from morning till night. I got possessed with this energy that wouldn't let me sleep in. It wouldn't let me even read a book. I was doing all my good habits of meditating, reading, journaling, and I couldn't even sit down to read a book. That's how possessed by this energy I was when I started my business. So that should tell you something. The first thing I would do when I'd wake up in the morning was run to the computer and work on my business. And it was the thing I did until the very end of the night. And there was times, being that it was a sales company, I had to get sales and get clients. I was always trying to improve my sales process. So if I lost a client, someone that could have been a client at least, from a sales call, I would, get an idea of, how can I overcome that objection before going to bed? And I'd run and write that down on my computer and make sure I don't mess up the next time. That is the level of attack that I went in with when I succeeded. My back was against the wall. I had credit card debt from those last 8 months, not really succeeding or doing anything productive with my life in Florida besides doing some good habits like quitting partying and not drinking. I did some boxing, a couple other things, but I didn't get any of the actual things that I wanted out of that quote unquote monk mode or disappearing and coming back successful. Whereas when I went to the mountains in New York, that's all I focused on, was the most important task, the thing that was gonna allow me to have the life that I wanted, which was building my business to 10K a month. And in that first month of starting it, I made 8K profit. So I literally went from credit card debt to 8K profit in a month's time, and then did much more beyond that within the first 2 months. Right before I went to Sweden, at the end of those 2 months of starting that business, I did a 5K profit week. So in a week I made 5K, and that was the most I'd ever made at any point in my life. So this was crazy for me to go from zero and literally negative to 5K in a week in just a matter of 2 months' time. It was mind-blowing. It shattered so many self-limiting beliefs that I had, and it taught me about hustle and working hard. And that is what I need you to understand when you're going into your disappearing and coming back successful mode, or monk mode, whatever it is that you want to call it, is you need to go all in And the best thing you can do is really focus in on one thing in particular. Identify what's the biggest thing that would make, or what would be that one thing that would make the biggest impact in your life and change everything for you. For me, back at that point, it was getting successful with business, because I've had the physique, right? I've had a good body. I've looks maxed to the point where there's really not much more I can do. I got my hairstyle. I know to rock a clean shave. I know how to talk to girls. I've cold approached hundreds of times. I've done it all, right, in those realms of things. It's like there's not much that I could really do in those areas that's gonna monumentally increase my life in any way, shape, or form. Whereas starting my own business, becoming financially free, being able to make money anywhere in the world, that was gonna make a big difference for me. So I went all in on that one thing, which was business. As where I didn't do that in the prior 8 months in Florida, I was still doing a lot of these other things like boxing, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can definitely still throw in good habits, but I wasn't going all in on business. I was barely even working that hard at it, if I'm being honest. And I was just draining my savings, getting to a point where I ended up in credit card debt. So I didn't go all in. I wasn't tenacious with my attack. I was just half-assing it. So if you're gonna half-ass your approach at entrepreneurship and making money and trying to disappear and come back successful, you will not succeed. That's the harsh reality of it. You need to go all in, because here's the thing, your subconscious mind will accept it when you go all in. When your back's against the wall and you're like, I'm gonna make this happen or I'm gonna die. It is literally like that. You make it happen. It's just how it works. When your back's against the wall like that, it just happens because your subconscious mind accepts it. You work like you've never worked before. Like I told you, I was possessed by an energy. I felt like I was on 10 cups of coffee all day long. That's how I felt. I didn't even drink coffee. I just felt like I had that caffeine high, operating with such focus, such clarity. I didn't care about any distraction. All I wanted to do was build my business. So once you identify that one key thing that will change your life the most, and you go all in on that, and you just operate from a place of just being almost possessed, being obsessed, being crazy about getting the results and making it happen, that's when you're gonna succeed. So it took me a bunch of failures, a bunch of businesses that I've tried in the past, from stocks to Instagram theme pages, Amazon FBA, and one common thing that happened with all of them was I half-assed it. I never gave it that all because I always was living with, I was younger in high school and I had the comfort of my parents. I was still doing all those things, doing traveling with them, whatever it was. And I never had my back against the wall where I needed to succeed. And that's what the difference was, where it was just a mental shift. And that's the most important thing that you can have going into this disappearing and coming back successful. If you want to make it really worth your time so that you don't end up like myself for those 8 months in Florida, where you end up just worse off than you started, you need to go all in. You can make this super productive and you can make it the best time of your life, because I genuinely enjoyed those 2 months in New York more than a lot of other phases that were like quote unquote fun, or I was doing things that most people would think are, more fun, and doing partying and hanging out with friends. Building my business in New York in those couple of months, although I really didn't have many social interactions, was the best time of my life. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done. It was becoming successful for the first time ever, proving to myself that I truly have what it takes to be an entrepreneur. So I hope you can understand the point of these two stories and the message along with this video, which is that when you want to disappear and come back successful or do a monk mode, the key is to go all in. If you don't go all in, you're not going to reap the benefits. You might reap some. You might get a little bit further ahead in the gym and improve your strength, and you may have cleared up your mind from drinking or partying, and you may have done less degenerate things, and you included some good habits. But did you change your life to the point where everything changed and you got everything that you wanted out of it? Probably not if you didn't go all in. You didn't work with that tenacity, just obsessed with getting the results. So that is the key. And this is how you're gonna disappear and come back successful if you really wanna make it happen. So that is all for this video. If this provided you with any value, please give this channel a subscribe. On here, I'm gonna be teaching you how to life max and get better in every single metric. So I'm gonna teach you how to make money, how to get girls, how to improve your discipline, your mindset. All of it is gonna be covered on this channel. If that sounds of interest, give this channel a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.